All right, guys, welcome again, everybody that's joined and everybody joining. We couldn't be happier to have you. And we are very excited to show you the Hulk system, the future of waterproofing. And the future has arrived, and we're going to show you what that is and go through composite waterproofing, process of doing those applications. My name is Brandon Carville. I'm the president and CEO at Hulk Systems. I'll be walking you guys through this. The rest of my team will remain on mute, but we will be spotlighting the guys doing the applications. So if we look and see if you could highlight Trevor's camera there, spotlight them. So on the left of your screen, that's Marwan. That is my business partner at WeatherScan, and he will be helping today with the Hulk application. Trevor Kerwin, if you could give us a wave. He is a partner in Hulk. He owns Travail Foundation Sprays, and they own the market share here in Calgary. And then let's spotlight Ray Garneau. Guys, Ray Garneau is with Hulk Systems, and he runs our engineering department and product fabrication, and he is representing iCoat. So this is our business development manager and our head product technician. And we couldn't be happier than to have Ray on our team. He brings a huge pedigree and background when it comes to coatings and knowledge and what the industry needs. And see if you don't mind popping over to Cody real quick. This is Cody, our chief sales officer. A lot of you guys have probably talked to Cody. Cody is setting up our distribution network, getting Hulk Systems out there to the people, and so that those distributors can get it out to their installers like yourselves. And NC is our in-house engineer and project manager, and NC will be running this for me, helping me allow people to come into the meeting, and then putting the spotlight where it needs to be. So thank you, NC. So let's, after that brief introduction, I'm just going to really quickly tell you what we're going to be doing here today. I'm going to be going through a PowerPoint with you. I'll be going through some different sales points with you, product knowledge, the added value that WeatherScan or Hulk Systems brings to the market and our products bring to the market. And we're also going at the same time in tandem, we're going to be doing a live application on an ICF wall as a low grade waterproofing, and on an OSB wall doing the above grade vapor barrier system. So these guys are going to get started. And see if you could highlight Trevor there. And then maybe let's jump over to Maru's camera, and Maru's going to take us around. We're going to take a look at the stuff we're going to be using here today. So component A is our waterproofing membrane. So it's a liquid component. Okay, we're going to be spraying it through a Titan 1080 today. We've got that pressure set at about 1800 to 2000 PSI. So I mean, it's not cranked all the way up. Reason being is that our gun, we're using a low pressure tip so that we can get a really big fan. That's a 727 on that thing. So it's going to come out thick and heavy, but that's generally what somebody wants if they're doing waterproofing applications. They want that product going on quick and thick. Always remember that it's not about it's not necessarily about looking pretty, it's about getting your coverage. So Maru just went and showed us the fabric there. We pre-cut our textile. So in any composite material, there's two components. You've got your liquid and your textile, whether it's carbon fiber, aramid, Kevlar. This is an E-glass. There's also S-glass. It's a version of fiberglass. This is the device that we send out to installers. It's actually this is a beefed up one, but we have simplified ones so that you can unroll your lengths on site and it makes them easy to cut, then your roll's not getting dirty. You'll notice that that fabric is woven on both sides. So that is custom to Hulk. And that ensures that you don't get those little fiberglass slivers when you're dealing with it. So if you've ever dealt with fiberglass matting, you get the little slivers. You don't get it with this. It's a really nice textile to work with, really malleable. So Maru's going to then show us the one part that we did. We cut some fiberglass and we did the base and the top of this windowsill. You guys will see why when we start doing the application, we applied these first. Once that full sheet goes up the wall, we'll just cut it down the middle and fold in the sides so that that window will be complete. We wanted to show you guys how to do this with both the Hulk system membrane and then show you with the tape on the OSB wall later. It's the same principle, but here we're going to have a monolithic seamless application where your window is also waterproof. All right, so we're going to let those guys start and get set up, and they'll be spraying that ICF block wall. And you'll see Trevor's going to start to hit this thing, and then Maru is going to go up and he's going to show us really quick how many mils you want to get. So the trick is, once you start seeing the product sag a little bit or get a little bit of a drip, you're good. So if you could zoom up on that, and you guys can see that it's pretty wet, you're losing some of the impression on the ICF. That's a good amount of thickness. So we'll come back and then we'll show you guys what you want to be seeing when you embed your textile as well. So it'll be one coat, it'll be the textile, and then it'll be another coat. So I'm going to share my screen, guys, really quick. And what I want to go through with you guys is a couple of assets that we've got, but it really explains well what it is we're doing. So to keep things simplified, we don't want to overcomplicate things. What they just did, what you just saw is they showed the foam is clean. They sprayed the liquid, 35 to 40 mils. Once you see a bit of sag, product drip, then they're going to be inlaying the textile, the Hulk SRT, into the still wet section of the wall, and they'll smooth out any wrinkles. Step 3, they're going to spray the final coat. They'll spray until you can't really see the textile texture anymore. And that's it. So the process is fairly simple. The colors, you'll notice today we're spraying gray. The reason that we're spraying gray is because it has been heavily requested from the ICF community as a color option, so that the ICF ends up looking like concrete. Now, gray is a little bit trickier to spray onto concrete as you can't see your coverage as well. So outside of our promotional green, we do offer an industry black. It's a flat black. If you've got inspectors that are just married to seeing black stuff on the wall, you have that option. And a lot of guys that do concrete waterproofing choose that black option. A lot of the guys that do the concrete waterproofing aren't using the SRT textile, so it's not the full system, but the black membrane is a very affordable, even compared to Super Pro and Watchdog, when it comes to having a green option that is right on par. You can actually make more profits with the Hulk system option. And we can, and if anybody has questions about that, we could address those questions through a separate email or in the Q&A. Solar reflective white. Now, when you're dealing with foam, when you're dealing with any material, even the tape that you see on those walls, and you go over it with a colored coating with a heavy pigment can cause tapes to bubble in very hot areas, can cause foam to melt. So you never want to go into, say, southern Utah and spray industry black above grade. You know, you're going to have so much heat, so much UV on that structure that you're going to have issues. Solar reflective white for those hot regions is an option, and that is what we'll be spraying on top of that OSB wall shortly. What we're going to do, maybe quick, is I'm going to stop my share. And if we could, and see, let's highlight where the guys are at here with the process. So they're embedding that textile now. So you'll see Trevor's running his hand across the top, and then he'll go down the center and work his way out. Now he's using, a lot of people just choose to use their hands. It's very easy. You can also use that fin or a large putty knife. You just got to be careful that you're not catching any edges with the blade. And so he's just ensuring that there's no wrinkles in this application. You can see the material starts to come through, so you know it's thick enough. The problem with, and I'll reiterate this, you always want to put on enough material. One thing that can slow your application down is if you're trying to make it look pretty, you're going too thin, and then your textile doesn't want to stick because you know your material's dried, or it's just not thin enough or thick enough in spots. So something you learn fairly quickly is to get those mills on properly, and then you can see we left a little bit at the bottom there to demonstrate if you had a footing, you could cut extra fabric, it could come out onto a footing. So even at that joint where the ICF wall meets the footing, that seam is eliminated. The Hulk system makes the whole thing seamless. So now Trevor will be gearing up. He's left a little excess at the top. It's a, you know, that's always a good idea because then you can just go back and cut it later. And now he's spraying the second coat. Apologies. And getting enough mills on there in order to get proper coverage. Cody, would you mind taking over for 1 second?
Absolutely. Yeah, so what he's doing right now is just getting in the 35 mils on the top coat. So the whole system is a 70 mil system with 2 coats. So he's now, you can see the textile is losing the granules, the grains in it. And then we'd like to also use a mill gauge, and that really helps, especially when you're starting to learn the process and learn the thicknesses, to use a mill gauge to get your the proper thickness.
Thanks, Cody. I apologize, guys. I got a frog in my throat there right at the worst time. And you can see that, I mean, you're not really even seeing the impression of the ICF blocks anymore. This is a nice smooth surface, again, monolithic and seamless. This is something that we're going to be going through in a little more depth, and that's an example there of a mill gauge, guys. So it will have little readings on the side of the card. You can check it in multiple spots. And that card, you'll be able to see what depth your coating's at. So those teeth, if they touch the surface, that means you've achieved that thickness. So those are always handy to have. I'm sure if a lot of you guys are painters out there that are joining us today, you well know that those are tools of the trade, and that you've constantly got those on hand. I'm actually just going to leave it here on this screen, and we'll just follow these guys. I'll do more screen sharing here when they're done this part of the application and they switch from the gray to white. But I want you guys to be able to see as much of the application as possible. Trevor's again, now he's got the first coat on for his next sheet. We'll be going. We'll be going right over that window as well. And any questions you guys have along the way, open up that Q&A button. Feel free to ask, and Cody will get you a response very quickly. Trevor's hitting any of those larger voids. He's hitting it with extra material to fill it up nice. There you go. That just ensures a really good bond, but that any of those trouble areas behind the sheet have proper coating and waterproofing film. Perfect job, Trevor. Okay. Now we've been doing this, we started developing this product. This was one of the original chemistries of Weatherskin. So Weatherskin, to quickly explain, guys, is the company that Marwan and myself started, and it's now focused on facility maintenance. But the offshoot, we decided we needed to deliver something improved to the waterproofing sector. So we knew we had the green coating. We knew we had a acrylic that was we can get a waterproof membrane out of it. It's actually a very unique acrylic. And we were able to deliver a green alternative. The challenge was how can we create a system that can remove, so that was just a liquid waterproofing, and then how do we create a system that could negate needing your peel and stick membranes and your dimple wrap sheetings, your protection boards. So that was challenge. We were posed that by one of the ICF manufacturers, and the only solutions that we could think, we started looking at the options and started to learn about composite waterproofing. Now, composite waterproofing is a system that's been around for quite a long time, but it's not ever been affordable. So it's been used for things like pipeline wrap, protecting major assets. The issue was it just was not feasible. The supply of the textiles were not readily available as yet, and the price point was unrealistic to introduce this into the foundation market. So very up until recently, when we had, in the States, there's the infrastructure bill that got passed, and the UK has started integrating these high-grade textiles into earthquake proofing, into road construction. So the demand increased and then the supply increased, and now we've hit a point where we are closer to this being a commodity. So we were able to build a really healthy relationship with one of the textile producers that deals with all the raw goods manufacturers, custom design our own material, and now bring composite waterproofing, which, if you think this is the Ferrari of waterproofing systems, to the residential foundation housing market. So no longer is it at a price point where it's relegated to the energy sector, to protecting high-end assets. We can now bring this in and protect our homes and our foundations and our businesses using the same technology that sector trusts on the most high risk, high liability assets that they own. So the technology is not, composite waterproofing is not necessarily new. The future is the green aspect, the coating that we're mixing with it. The future is that it's been built into a system by Hulk Systems that is now marketable to the foundation marketplace and available to it. Now, I just touched on this being green and eco-friendly, and how is, how is that? What are the other comparables? And see, as I talk, maybe let's put the spotlight back on Trevor there. Yeah, and we'll watch him do the second coat. So typically, to achieve a waterproof coating, you have to have some sort of petrol bituminous base in your coating. That's been generally the standard for years and years. You see a lot of these coatings advertise themselves as zero VOC because it's a really cool industry sporty term right now to use. And then you look at their SDS sheet and it is not the case. Or you open the pail and you smell right away that it's not the case. When we're talking about bituminous products, solvent-based products, the appetites with the environmental consultants, with the regulators, is that they want improvement, they want innovation, they want to reduce things like emissions, VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds that leach off of your product either before or after it's cured. So you think, hey, I've put tar on the side of my house and I'm growing my carrots right there in my little garden beside my house, and what's coming up into the root systems of those carrots, right? Or solvents, HAPs. They want to reduce. Now that is the big push. So for the last bit, we've seen VOC tolerances come down like this. Now it's HAPs, which are hazardous airborne pollutants. Those restrictions are starting to be applied, and we're seeing more and more jurisdictions, California being a leader, but more and more jurisdictions, and then even at a national level, drop those tolerance levels. So it's forcing the coatings industry to improvise, to pivot. And it's also forcing a lot of products off the market. So we know that's where things are going. We just wanted to get there first. We want to lead the way. We want you guys to see, hey, this is what is happening now, and offer this as an option to your customers. If this is something they care about, they'll be forced to care about it eventually here. But if it's something they care about, is the environment, the health and well-being of their staff, of their installers, and the general well-being of and improved protection that they're offering on their projects, then Hulk has that covered. So you can see how they cut that window, guys. So he cut essentially a capital I out of it at the top, and then down the center, folded it in, and he's just spraying that out. You get a nice monolithic window. You can still, if your inspector expects to see tape over that cell after your Hulk's dried, by all means, go throw your tape or your blue skin. We advocate a low profile 3M tape, which you guys will see in a bit. So Trevor's going really heavy on this seam because that's what we want to eliminate. Seams and penetrations. Okay, with Hulk Systems, we wanted to go quite a bit further. So we wanted to actually find out, why aren't systems like ICF being more readily adopted into major subdivisions? What was it? What are the drivers? And talking to installers like Trevor, he's restricted by the builders. The builders are restricted heavily by the standards that the products meet. Now, the standards, why do they have to meet the standards for the builders? Well, the builders rely heavily on home warranty providers, especially and I know it's different jurisdictions, you know, there's less building inspection in certain states, there's more in certain states and provinces. But the home warranty providers are the ones that are taking the risk and liability weight on their shoulders. And what was it those guys don't like about underground waterproofing systems, or ICF? And it was the underground application was their big worry after talking to quite a few of them. And we decided, why don't we start to entertain an insurance-backed warranty program? Where our guarantee, our warranty guarantee is backed by a major insurer. Now, learning about, and you guys can, I'll take a brief pause here. You guys can see that wall's now pretty well coated and finished. He's gonna check with the mill gauge. And they'll be jumping to clean out the sprayer after he is happy with that. We will be returning to this wall to show you guys a textured application so that you can see what we can do with the top belly band, or the top, call it 8 to 16 inches that is between your soil level and your siding, your exterior siding system. So that's really cool. And essentially we can replace parging for you, and with one easy step after you've gone around your house and waterproofed it. So I'll get back to that really quick, is just discussing the insurance. What is it? Why don't they like waterproofing systems? Well, the number one reason that the waterproofing systems fail that is seams and penetrations. So lap joints, seams, penetrations, anywhere water can get behind and bubble up or penetrate into the foam or the concrete. So I mean, the most advanced residential waterproofing systems, you've got peel and stick, which is a seam system. And what you experience with peel and stick, and a lot of you guys know, sometimes we just call it peel because even with the primer, it doesn't want to stick to anything but itself, but it sags during backfill. You get it pulling down and you get these pockets formed, or you get ripples at the seams where water can come in at the side, or you get holes in it backfilling when a rock hits it. The stuff is very susceptible to damage and to distortion when it's being applied and when it's being then attended to by other equipment or trades on site. So it's highly susceptible to damage. Those water pockets, you get enough hydrostatic pressure and build pockets of water behind that peel and stick, and you've now got water where it cannot, it's trapped underneath a waterproof membrane sheeting. The only place for it to go is into the foam and turn that concrete into cookie crumble. That was problem A. Problem B is, okay, the solution seemed to be the dimple wrap protection board. From the insurance perspective, we're now adding how many more penetrations with all those fasteners, and on a system like ICF, you're commonly missing the strap, especially after the peel and sticks on. So you're just adding a tremendous amount of water penetration points to the system in order to give it a little bit more rigidity for backfill. So this is why insurance companies have never really gotten on board and insured a waterproofing system. Second reason being is improper installation, guys. People aren't trained. So what I'm going to go through with you guys with right now is how Hulk negates those things. You've seen how we are seamless. We eliminate seams and penetrations, lap joints. I'm going to go through our training really quick. So I'll be sharing my screen again. Going to exit out of this. These are just some testimonials. We do a lot of projects at the moment with the Hutterite community. buildings like this that have to be left during the winter and they're really exposed to high winds. You know, a Tyvek or home wrap vapor barrier system just really does not suffice. So this next system that we're showing you guys, our above grade system, I think you'll really love, because it's not going to blow away in the winter. You're not getting a bunch of staple holes, and you're getting really good vapor protection. Now, there we go. Okay. So this is our website, guys. On here, we're not going to go through the full thing, but on here you can find the data sheets and everything for the products. It goes through the products that are available for the different systems. So I'm just going to really quickly go into SIPs. Okay. SIPs, we might need a few other products. So we also offer a magnesium board sealer. If you're dealing with magnesium board, you get really good adhesion to the board itself. And our mastic for SIPs or for concrete. So any concrete waterproofers are familiar with mastic. It's about the consistency of melted marshmallow, and it's a rubberized compound that you trowel in, and you're going to be filling up any honeycombing, any seams with the mastic. And then of course the two components that are always part of the system. Apologize for the scrolling. These are Hulk WP and our Hulk SRT. Cody, do you mind just chiming in for a second?
Absolutely, Brandon. Yeah, so the system carries over here. Well, you guys saw the mastic and the sealer. We're finding, like, for the SIPs, it's a phenomenal additive to add for the adhesion properties for SIPs. However, it's just one extra step. It's very simple to apply, and then the process continues as every other substrate would be.
Guys, I apologize. About a week and a half ago, I was down with pneumonia, and we've dry run this presentation a few times today, and now I am losing my voice, it seems. So I will keep pushing on. On the back side of our website, partners.hulksystem.com, this is being launched at the end of this week. And we're really happy to bring you guys. We realized we needed to scale up the training. So it was not feasible because Hulk is growing incredibly quick. It just was not feasible to be everywhere at once to help with pilot projects or have everybody coming here. So we realized we needed a online e-training available as an option. So this is actually quickly becoming adopted by a lot of waterproofing firms that even aren't necessarily yet applying Hulk, but that hire new waterproofers. And when they consider that normally they're paying their lead hand to train these guys for 2 days, they're paying the new trainee, you know, you're looking at $600-800 to do that training for those two people. They're taking people on this course, and for $99 they're able to learn about the history of waterproofing, the products that are available, an overview of where the industry market's at today, what's happening, what are the drivers, common problems in waterproofing, a whole bunch of good solutions. And then of course it gets into understanding Hulk systems, the equipment that you use, the products, what they do on more of a technical level, how to apply them, and it really promotes Hulk as well. So you guys could join this course, take the course. If once people have taken the course, then they will have the ability to request warranties on their projects. So the training course, I'm going to jump into. I've started a couple lessons here to give you guys an idea. Each module comes with multiple lessons, and then you take a quiz. So these lessons are timed. So you spend X amount of time within that lesson, you absorb the information, you take the quiz. There's 8 modules, and by the end, if you have an 80% above, then you've passed, and you will get a certificate that says that you've achieved accomplished the training. With that training, it will open up a new section for you under my account. And this you can put in your avatar, but it'll be a section where you can track your warranties and your jobs. So any warranties that have been issued for you or that you've requested through Hulk Systems, you'll be able to access them here, access your projects, give us updates on those projects, upload photos. But that's kind of where we'll be tracking the history and the progress of your applications. So the training is a great resource. I think we're going to be running a few select guys through it here shortly. But everybody that's done it has given us great feedback, saying that we've set it basically a new standard for information and just delivering to the waterproofing sector and new waterproofing applicators. Take somebody who's green, and after this course, they feel like they know a lot. They're way better equipped to be out there on the field doing good work for you guys. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to jump back to, we'll jump to Marwan's camera here, if you can highlight that for us. Now, dry times on that coating that Trevor just sprayed. So under normal conditions, with a little bit of wind, that thing's going to be between 4 hours at probably best to 12 hours in the least ideal conditions to be cured up to where it could be hit by snow or rain. Now, you don't want to be applying if you know that rain is imminent, if you know the moisture is imminent, you want to cut it off maybe 6 hours beforehand. And there is cold weather application, which we're not going to go through in this, but it is in our technical guide, and we can explain that to you on how to do that properly. Now, Maru's just zooming up right now on the 3M tape. So this is a very low profile tape, but we find that the adhesion is incredible both to foam and wood. Trevor is just peeling the back of this tape. So it's easy to, if you start the roll at the top and then peel down. Now that backing, there's a crease down the middle of the backing, so that if you're doing corners, it's very easy to rip off one half of that backing, do the corner, and then rip off the second half. We always do all of our horizontals first. With this system, guys, it's not like blue skin. It's not going to be flipping or flopping around on you and falling off. So if you have your framers do this while the walls are down in framing stage, and you can see how low pro that is. If you have your framers actually doing it during framing stage, while the wall's down, you can just roll the rolls out of tape very easy. Now we have up top, we have a plate tape as well. So a big thing right now is in the industry is trying to get these zero energy loss structures. So if you think that gap between your 2x8 plate, in between your 2 plate materials, it's probably spruce. If you think about that gap as being a channel that air and moisture can travel, and then Maru's just adjusting the pressure for this coating. You want to eliminate that. However, with the vapor barrier, you still want a bit of permeability. So you want slightly above 1 perm. That is why we do half the thickness. And that is also why we do not include the textile, okay? Because that sheet, that OSB, if it absorbs any environmental or ambient moisture, maybe coming from within the structure, traveling out, it needs to be able to sweat out of that OSB sheeting. Okay, so above grade, again, you can see Trevor's doing this in white. The material, that is a paintable seam and plate tape. So it takes the material very well. And again, what we're doing is we're looking for a seamless finish. Now, the reason we don't have on the sides and the top of that window is code here. I'm not going to say code. Code here when you're doing these windows is you put your tape at the bottom sill, you put your window in, and if it's a nail flange on the sides and the top and the bottom, you tape over top of the nail flange on the sides and then the header, leaving the bottom flange exposed in case any water buildup underneath your window, it needs to get out. So you put your base in before the window itself. That code is, it's a variable. It's on different structures, it might be done differently, and with different window types, it might be done differently. Different jurisdictions might want to see different things. So that's just kind of the standard we're following here. Follow the standard regulation in your guys' local area or with the building material, building assembly that you're working with. What you guys are probably noticing too is this is going fast, okay? Now, consider even with peel and stick on the other wall, how long it would have taken to get your primer on the wall. And then the peel and stick, once you've cut it, you've had a few pieces stick together. You're trying to get that good adhesion. So the waterproofing is quite a bit faster, but this is remarkably faster than going and trying to do all of this with home wrap, especially when you can do these tapes when your wall is still at framing stage on its horizontal plane. So this is just one coat. So if you think about the other system where we did the coats until you get a little bit of sag, then we immerse the textile, we're just doing that first coat. So you get a little bit of sag, that's it, and we stop, okay? Again, what we're achieving is a monolithic, seamless finish. No penetrations. No side of any of this tape is going to be able to be lifted because you've got the coating over top of it. No side of our textile on the other wall is going to be able to be lifted because you have the coating over top of it. It creates a uniform monolithic surface. No penetrations, no seams. We are eliminating the biggest threat to waterproofing systems. Okay, and another thing, it's not just water, hydrostatic pressure that attack those seams. It's also wind, especially on the above grade applications. So, I mean, wind is another force of nature that's in a field on some of these large buildings and in rural communities. You can have your home wrap halfway down your neighbor's property before you've even left it for an hour after you applied it. And you have to remember, you're putting a whole bunch of staples into your wall, right through your paper. So this is a really good option for protection, especially right before the winter season, if you need to tighten up your building for interior applications. Now Trevor's just going through doing the mill testing again. We'll come back to them, guys, in a little bit once they are ready to shoot the texture. The texture, I think you guys are going to find really interesting. It shoots through a hopper. We've had guys doing big industrial projects that have converted some of the texture, either Titan or Graco equipment into some essentially fire hose hoppers to shoot this stuff out at a great volume. But what you'll see today is just one hooked up to an air unit. And it's a continuous air, so that you constantly have pressure, and it is poured into a funnel. And it is much like you see the guys that do the stipple ceilings or texture wall effects. It's the same equipment they're using is what you'll see Marwan using a little bit later to apply the texture to the gray. So it's a very easy process. Again, you go around your building. By the time you're done going around your building and waterproofing it, you'll be able to start at that first corner you started at and do your belly band and texture. So we've gone through the websites. We went through the training components. One other thing I want to touch on is on our website here. We have the job estimator. Well, this is nice, guys. If you're in the field, or if you're a distributor, you guys just want to quickly figure out how much material do I need for my project. Download this. It'll ask you to put your project details into the app, and it'll save as many projects as you put into it. So you want to name them, but you can always go back and refer to them. And if you're doing above grade, it'll tell you what you need for your above grade. Below grade, it'll tell you exactly how many gallons. And you can set your overage. So if you think that, hey, I might go 5% over, or I need 10% overage for material, you can set that in the app. It'll factor that in. It'll tell you how many gallons you need. And you can choose the volumes you buy that in, whether you're a drum purchaser or you want a whole bunch of single gallon cans. I don't know what you're going to want, but and then the rolls, it'll tell you how many rolls of textile you need to complete your application. So it's just a really quick way. It takes a lot off your shoulders, a lot of time savings there, and a lot of, we've all screwed up at times and improperly priced a project out. So let Hulk do that for you. So I'm just going to stop sharing one more time here. We're going to go back now. What I want to show you guys, if we focus in on Marwan right now, we got Marwan in the spray suit. So can you actually go to Trevor really quick and see? Look how clean Trevor is. He just sprayed both those walls. If anybody sprayed bituminous coating, you have to be far away from that. You got to be in one of those spray suits all day, all summer. You are cleaning yourself off with bar salt all day, all summer. Trevor is spotless. Maru has the suit on because when you're doing texture, there is an aggregate. So that aggregate, when it hits the wall, some of the sand kicks back. So that those sand particles, he's got the suit on so that he's not getting covered in sand. But for all intents purposes, this is so much cleaner, guys. And so much less destructive on not only your body, your health, but your clothes. So, and it washes off your hands pretty easy. You don't need to strip the skin off to get the Hulk off. So Maru's is shooting in a circular pattern right now, and it's a little difficult for us to see at this point. So maybe, can you get in there, Trevor, and just zoom up on that texture? And you know what? Do we have maybe a dry sample kicking around of some texture that Cody, you could maybe bring out there and we could zoom in on? So right now the texture is going into a wet coating, guys, and it's not showing up excellent on that camera. So I'm gonna get the guys to find a dried piece of the texture application so that we can really take a look at what it looks like cured. I'll give the guys a couple seconds here to get that together. I hope you guys are all downloading the app. Okay, and then yeah, we just need you to walk forward, maybe. Oh, I guess he's using that so that it's not blowing back onto the phone.
Brandon, I just have a dry sample here, really small one, and these guys are going to do great job spraying on the green. So
Let's see, maybe blow up Cody there.
Yeah, so you can see right here, it's a little better. Well, you can see how the texture looks, and now you can adjust how thick or how much sand you want in your texture, so you can add or go less depending on what the aesthetic that you're looking for. Now, this is on a concrete sample, but it is the same idea.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And they just shot, that's a good shot there, tilted up a little bit. They just shot the texture onto the green. So you guys, this is actually perfect that they did this, because it gives you a great idea of the color coverage now as well. So if anybody's worried about, oh, am I gonna have to do 2 coats with my gray that I did my foundation in black? Absolutely not. The color coverage, even white over black, we've done white over red, is incredible with this product. So you can see that splatter. Maybe stop there, Maru, just leave a little green so that we can see. And you guys can see that gives you the look, the finish almost of concrete itself. So when you do your belly band on your ICF like that, by the time that cures up, you can't tell the difference between that concrete parging. The nice thing is you don't have the delamination that you have with parging. That's really common. You don't have water getting up behind it or underneath a scratch coat, brown coat, wire, and having that delamination or the decoloration where you can never quite patch it right to make it look good again. This, if anything, somebody with a forklift accidentally takes out a piece of your Hulk parging, all it is a simple hopper spray to repair. It's not the kind of work that you need to put in when you're talking about a normal parging repair.
Yeah, Brandon, how about when kids are kicking around soccer balls around the house, and or whatever, and all of a sudden they chunk off a section of your parging, and now what do you do with this is actually more flexible, plus it's UV stable.
And that's not going to happen with Hulk. No ball being kicked at it's going to take anything off. So guys, I want to really quickly, I know we've taken a lot of your time. I'm going to go over 2 things really quick. One is I want to touch on our master specification. So Hulk systems, we know that everything is about meeting proper testing, meeting proper standards. Anybody that is familiar with testing, it is the process of isolating and identifying a certain performance characteristic of a product, of a membrane. For in our instance, a standard, something like the CCMC, the Canadian Construction Materials Center here in Canada, they set a standard of what those materials need to do. To go over and above a standard, then you have your specification, which will verify that a product meets all of the requirements of those standards, that it's been tested for those standards. It will also get into the proper environmental controls, application controls, and manufacturing processing controls that need to be attended to for those construction materials. So Hulk Systems meets our spec here, and the spec I can send teams a summary of it, but it covers things like the International Building Code, BOCA in the States, the National Building Code, CCMC. And Ray will tell you Hulk Systems did not match to meet the equivalent. We exceeded all those standards. So if you guys need the paperwork and a letter pertaining to Hulk and its ability in the field and its compliance to these standards, we can get you a letter from the spec writers if you are a trained installer that you can provide your inspectors or your local builders. So that I wanted to touch on really quick because I know a lot of people will ask about their local standards. And, you know, finally, I think we're out of time here for the sharing portion, like what me sharing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see if anybody has gotten into the Q&A. Feel free now, now that you guys have seen this process, if you guys want us to take a camera and zoom up on anything, if you want us to give you any more details on what was done today, on anything we may have missed, let us know. Any feedback would be appreciated. But here in the Q&A we have, what about a weed whacker? Cody's handling that. He's typing an answer. I can tell you, don't worry about the weed whacker. You can run into this with a lot more than a weed whacker. Even those industrial weed whackers, if that was coming from a colony, I know you guys have the souped up version of a weed whacker, and it handles those. It actually handles some of the stone slingers that Trevor's throwing at it. I think for fun, maybe what we should do is have Trevor Marwan could run up, grab some smash pads. They're up in the office. Trevor could whack them with a hammer. I want to show you guys the durability of this product. Now I've got Clayton said, have you used it directly on concrete or to repair, prevent spalling concrete? Absolutely, Clayton. Trevor's company is primarily, I mean, like most residential waterproofers, ICF is a very small part of their waterproofing applications. EPS is probably a little bit bigger. The majority that they're going to see is waterproofing concrete. We have some great assets on Hulk versus the other commonly used industry products for concrete, but he uses it every day. He was able to easily retro his trucks. His crews are a heck of a lot happier. He's got higher employee retention because they're not out there dealing with Varsol and products that they hate working with every day. You know, they love working with Hulk versus the other stuff, the stuff of yesterday. Are you okay? So let's spotlight Trevor there really quick. There we go. Trevor, do we have a peel and stick sample? No. We don't want to put the peel and stick sample in because we don't want to show the competitor's name on the peel and stick sample. But you guys all know how easy a hammer goes through it. So this sample, and Trevor can stand up and give it a whack if he wants to. The foam will break before the composite. We've taken this sample to trade shows and put $100 on the table and said this goes to anybody that goes through it without using the claw end of the hammer. There you go. Okay. That is the strength. You get a whole new material when you make a composite. So it's not a liquid, it's not a peel and stick, it's a composite. You're combining the textile with the liquid to make a new material. The foam dies before the system does. Okay. I'm going to go through, I know some of these questions got answered. Yes, we're going to send copies of the video. Is there an overlap minimum? We like to do about 4 inches. So that's good. I'm sorry we missed that in my explanation. Do you have an FL product approved with NOA and Dade County? Again, we'll get you that spec. It meets everything that follows or falls within the Dade County and Southwestern Institute of Waterproofing. Are you able to spray the last product over top of the foundation waterproofing system? Are you able to spray the last product over top of the foundation waterproofing system? So are we talking about, I'm assuming you're talking about how we just sprayed the texture over top of our waterproofing? Yes, you are. The texture over a standard waterproofing coating, we wouldn't be warranting that. We would have to discuss it to see what you're applying. You might be able to in the field is apply it, but we don't know what that product is that's behind our coating, so therefore we can't warranty or guarantee it based on the chemistry and us not knowing. But Nick, yeah, get in touch with us. Email anybody here, email info@hulksystem.com if you have any more questions. Like I said, we've got all your emails, so we'll send you Cody at weathers or at hulksystem.com. We'll be sending you a little intro email just thanking you for attending. Anybody that wants to know how to get the product, get a hold of Cody, and we will point you to the distributor in your area. If you have any questions about pricing, we'll have to get those over to the distributors. They're the ones that set that. Okay, so we can answer anything to do with application, getting it in your hands, getting the samples, getting you training, anything like that, no problem. So yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoyed seeing this. I really hope it was educational, informative, that you learned a lot, that you're confident, that you're also inspired to go out and try this. You know, even the concrete waterproofers out there, adding this into your arsenal. You know, we know a lot, you know, that just adding it into your arsenal as an eco option or a premium option. We'd love to get you all the number crunching that we've done on applied costing for ICF versus the other systems, applied costing on concrete, because you might be surprised when you look at the amount of back end savings that you guys are going to see, the amount of the increased amount of time and the increased amount of now green market share that you can capture, the increased amount that you can take from your competitors because you're offering something innovative that meets all the standards that the old stuff does, but you're leading the charge. If you want to be a leader in your market, you want to have something that's going to really draw the attention of your builders, of your building community, and you want to be part of the next wave, the future of waterproofing, get a hold of Hulk and we can put this in your hands. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be doing more things like this. We hope to hear from all of you. We hope we answered all your questions. Again, any follow-up, feel free to email us. Guys, thanks again. Cheers.